Okay, fine, done. So today we shall start with gigabit Ethernet. Till yesterday we had seen ordinary Ethernet, then we had seen various versions of Ethernet, and finally we had seen fast Ethernet. Now today we shall see, gigabit Ethernet. So here in gigabit Ethernet, basically as the time passed by, there was a need for supporting higher data rate, and that led to the design of gigabit Ethernet protocol, which supported 1000 Mbps of speed, that is 1 gigabit. So this particular standard of the IEEE was known as 802.3Z. So whenever I talk of this standard 802.3Z, I should understand that we are talking of gigabit Ethernet. So the basic goals of gigabit Ethernets were to upgrade the data rate of 1 Gbps. Second, make it compatible with standard Ethernet and fast Ethernet. You see, already the infrastructure for standard Ethernet and fast Ethernet was established, and if they do not want to make this compatible, if they make this 1 gigabit Ethernet as a separate entity, all the infrastructure created for standard Ethernet or fast Ethernet would go waste. So they wanted to make this gigabit Ethernet to be compatible with standard or fast Ethernet. That means one or gigabit Ethernet will work fine even with standard, what I mean to say, Ethernet and fast Ethernet, and there is no change, no need to change the infrastructure like wiring, this, that, and all. Nothing need to be changed. So the next is, now we are trying to make it compatible. Gigabit Ethernet, we are trying to make it compatible with both standard and fast Ethernet. So it has to use the same 48-bit address, right? And when it is 48-bit address, the frame format also remains same. That means if frame goes from gigabit Ethernet to, what I meant to say, standard Ethernet or fast Ethernet, it should understand what is this frame. So frame format was not changed. The 48-bit address was not changed, so it could be understood uniformly by gigabit Ethernet as well as standard Ethernet as well as fast Ethernet. Right, and keeping the minimum size of the minimum and maximum size of the frame as it is, right? So these all were the goals with which what I mean to say, this was developed. And next was like we had defined something called as auto negotiation, that was defined for fast Ethernet, and the same facility should also be extended to gigabit Ethernet. So these were the 6 goals that were there associated with the gigabit Ethernet. Now we shall see, the various aspects of, what I meant to say, gigabit Ethernet, how we can implement the same thing. So the main consideration, for evaluation of Ethernet was to keep max sublayer untouched. So this is what was there, and still, so we are not touching the max sublayer, and still we want to achieve 1 gigabits per second of speed, and with ordinary max sublayer it was not possible. So gigabit Ethernet had 2 possibilities, I mean to say, for medium access. One was half duplex and one was full duplex. Half duplex means one-sided communication. Either it can receive the data or it can send the data, but it cannot do both together. That is half duplex system. And in full duplex system was also possible, where the data can be sent and received simultaneously, right? So for accessing the medium, gigabit has 2 possibilities. One was half duplex and another was what I meant to say, full duplex. But generally, most of the gigabit Ethernets were using full duplex approach, and rarely this half duplex approach was used. Very rare it was, right? So generally in full duplex mode, in gigabit Ethernet, there will be always a central switch which is connected to all other computers and or other switches. So in which each input port, each switch has buffers. So what happens here, whether what I mean to say it is input port or switch, it will be associated with buffers which are nothing but temporary storage space. So here, these buffers will store the incoming frames. These will be storing the incoming frames until they can be transmitted towards their destination. So, this switch uses the destination address of the frame. So the frame has to be sent. Now it's a switch. So whenever, frame was there in the buffer, and it has to be, and there was a provisions to store this frame. The moment the link between the switch and the destination was free, immediately this frame was transmitted, right? So there was no chance of collision occurring anywhere, because frame incoming frame would come, it will be kept in buffer associated with the switch, and the moment a link between the switch and the destination became free, immediately that frame will be forwarded towards that particular destination, and there was no collision. If there is no collision, so collision detection is not needed. If collision detection is not needed, so in this algorithm, we don't need CSMA CD. Carrier sense multiple access and collision detection was not used only. So, but if what I meant to say, there is a lack of collision, so this will imply that maximum length of cable will be determined by the signal attenuation in the cable, right? So not by collision detection process. So we are not bothered about collision detection because it is not happening only. So what should be the length of a cable? What I meant to say, for establishing a gigabit Ethernet. So the major category here was to ensure that the signal which was passing through the, what I meant to say, cable, the medium, it should not get attenuated. Attenuated in the sense its signal strength should not go low. And that should be the moment. If it is 1 kilometer in length, and suppose the data signal gets what I'm say faded after half a kilometer. So after half a kilometer, signal strength is getting faded. So that indicates that I should keep the length of the medium below half meter. That should be the criteria. So here collision was not the criteria. So criteria was what should be the length of the cable, so that the signal, when it is traversing through the medium, it should not get attenuated. So gigabit Ethernet was also used in a half duplex mode, but it was all as I told, it was rare. So here, in case of in half duplex communication mode of gigabit Ethernet, instead of a switch, we had a hub. So this hub will act as a common cable. Now, since hub is acting as a cable, part of the cable, indicates that collision can occur. Now, in all other Ethernets we had seen, collision could occur only in cable. And since the hub here in gigabit Ethernet, which is working in half duplex mode, is acting as a part of the cable itself. It is acting as a cable itself. So collision could occur at this particular hub. So in this half duplex mode, CSMA CD was used. You got the idea? So in this case, what I meant to say, the maximum length of the network, that is, connecting two hosts, what should be the maximum length of the cable connecting what I am say two what I meant to say hosts? So totally depended on minimum frame size. So frame size basically decided, minimum frame size decided what should be the length of the medium. So there were three methods that were defined in this approach of half what I'm saying duplex gigabit Ethernet implementation. So one was traditional approach, one was carrier extension, and another was frame busting. Let us see them one by one. So the first method was traditional approach. So in which the minimum length of the frame, what I meant to say, was maintained same as the traditional Ethernet, which was 512 bits. So if 512 bit is there, the length of the bit will be now coming to 1 by 100 shorter, right? 1 by 100 times it becomes shorter. length of a bit, because we are sending, see, in the fast Ethernet, we were sending at the rate of 10 Mbps. Now 10 Mbps and what I'm saying, sorry, 100 Mbps, 100 Mbps, and this is almost 1000 Mbps. You got the idea, 1000 Mbps. So bit length will increase by, so you can see 100 divided by, 10 Mbps divided by 1000 will become 1 by 100 times shorter. So, 10 Mbps Ethernet was here. So 10 divided by 1000, 10 divided by 1000. So the bit length became 1 by 100 times shorter. So 10 divided by 1000 will become this, because gigabits, 1 gigabits per second divided by 10 Mbps is nothing but 10 by 9. 10 to the power minus 9 divided by 10 to the power minus 6. So 10 to the power minus 3 will be the gigabit Ethernet, 512 bits into 1 divided by 1000 milliseconds. That is 512 milliseconds was the time slot during which the bits will be transmitted. So I hope you have understood how it has become shorter. Bit length was becoming shorter because it was 10 divided by 10 Mbps divided by 1000 Mbps. So I could get the length as what I'm saying, bit length as 1 divided by 100. And the time slot for gigabit Ethernet was 512 bits into 1 divided by 1000 microsecond, 1000 microsecond. So which is equal to 500. How we got this 1000 was 1 Gbps divided by 10 Mbps. So this is nothing but 10 to the power minus 9 divided by 10 to the power minus 6, which will give me this 10 to the power minus 3. So the reduced time slots means collision detection is almost 100 times faster when compared to standard Ethernet or fast Ethernet and all. This means the maximum length, what I meant to say, of the network could be 25 meters. Because in standard Ethernet, the maximum length of the medium allowed was 2005 meters or 2500 meters. That is, 2.5 kilometers divided by 100, because I want to detect, the collision 100 times earlier. So 2500 meters divided by 100 will become 25 meters should be the length. And if the length of the medium is 25 meters, so still it can, what I meant to say, is coming within this range, 20,000 to 2,500 meters. So, this is how it could support both what I'm saying, half duplex gigabit Ethernet, half duplex gigabit Ethernet. 25 meters was the length of the maximum length of the what I mean to say, medium, maximum length of the medium. So here, which was coming well within 2,500 meters, so I could establish the connectivity between standard Ethernet and fast Ethernet and gigabit Ethernet. So this length was suitable for all the stations if they are in 25 meters means it's a very small this thing. So all the systems were then confined to a single room. Single office. I mean to say small, 25 meters is a very small, this thing. So it was confined to a single small office. Now, the second thing was what I mean to say, carrier extension approach. So in this, we wanted longer network in the sense I wanted to have a cable or medium length beyond 25 meters, because I do not want to confine my network to within a room, because 25 meters is a very small, cable length, and all the systems will be connected with these 25 meters means the entire network gets confined to a room. I wanted to extend. So if I want to extend the size of the, what I meant to say, cable, so definitely I have to increase the minimum length of the frame. So minimum length of the frame was increased from 512 bits to 512 bytes. That means, so this becomes 512 bytes means 512 into 8, that is 4096 bits. So I could see that 4096 bits divided by 512 if I make. So the minimum length is 8 times longer. 8 times longer means 25 meters into 8, that becomes cable length becomes 200 meters. Cable length becomes 200 meters. So this is how, by increasing the size of the minimum length of the frame from 512 bits to 512 bytes. That means there was 8 time increase in the length, minimum length of the frame, and hence I could increase the medium length by 8 times. So 25 meters into 8, I could extend the network to 200 meters. So that was quite considerable this thing, and that was done in carrier extension. This thing. So this allows a length of 100 meters from hub to the station, 100 meter from hub to the station. Now there was bit inefficiency associated with carrier extension because it was very inefficient. If there are series of short frames to be sent. Now I said the frame size has to be 512 bits. Now 512 bits means scenario is something 512 bytes. So I said that in this scenario, the length should be 500 bytes. Assuming that now I have, here 1 gigabit Ethernet, 1 gigabit Ethernet, 1 Gbps Ethernet. Am I clear over here? And there is something called as what I meant to say standard Ethernet. So it is standard Ethernet. Am I clear over here? Standard Ethernet is here, and here the minimum frame length is 512 bits. You got the idea? So minimum, the frame length is 512 bits. Now this 512 bits are there in this particular frame, but this, in carrier extension, the minimum frame length was how much it was decided? It was supposed to be 4096 bits. We have just seen that it was equal to 4096 bits. So if any frame that is coming from standard Ethernet, which will be 512 bits long, and the minimum frame size supported by 1 gigabits, per 1 gigabits per second, using half duplex mode of communication. The minimum frame length was extended to what I meant to say 4096 bits. So to this particular frame containing 512 bits, I had to add extra bits. That means 4096 minus 512 bits. So 512 bits. So how much it will become? It will be 4, and this will be 8, and this will be 3. So 3584 extra bits that need to be added to this particular frame, which is 500 bits long. You got the idea? So here, a lot of redundant data was added. So divided by 8, if you do divide it by 8, you will be getting these many extra bytes were to be added to this frame. And that is why it was getting inefficient. This method was getting inefficient. Carrier extension was getting inefficient. So how to go ahead with this to improve, this efficiency of not adding, this extra bytes or extra bits to the frame, small frame, to make it compatible with 4096 bits. There was another method proposed, that was frame busting, method of communication was proposed. So instead of adding extension to each frame, multiple frames were sent. Now, what was happening here is now I'm not what I meant to say extending the frame. So if it is 512 bits is the size of the frame, which is coming from say 10 Mbps Ethernet, fast Ethernet is coming from fast Ethernet, assuming that. And this is 1 Gbps network. So 1 Gbps network. So this is the station, And here, this is the station which is supporting this 10 Mbps speed. And here the frame size is 512 bits. You got the idea? So now what I'll be doing is, I do not want to pad this particular 512 bits with extra bits to make it equal to 4096 bits. So in this case, what I'll be doing, I'll be sending multiple frames of the size 512 bits. You got the idea? Multiple frames I'll send with 512 bits like this. So each one will be 512 bits, right? But what happens with this now? If I send multiple frames, there will be a break scenario here. Here there is a break scenario. So to address that frame scenario, I just wanted to do what? Make it look like as a big frame. Big frame means frame equal to 4096 bits. So this in between space, what was here, you got the idea. I'll pad only this much portion with extra bits, this much portion with extra bits, this much portion with extra bits. You got the idea? So that I will make the network feel that it's a single large frame of the size 4096 bits. So only extra padding, instead of padding 512 bits, with, more than 3000 bits, long set of bits, what I did was I sent multiple frames, one after the other. And with each frame, you got the idea, which was minimum length was 512. So just between two frames, I padded them with extra bits, like here, like here, like here. So network felt that this is a single frame. With this kind of padding between the frames, padding between the frames, small frames, it was looking like as a big, what I meant to say, frame of the size of 4096, bits. And in fact, it was made to feel that this channel is busy with the transmission of longer frame. It is not idle. So basically here, what was done was, it's a kind of what I meant to say, cheating, I should say, the other stations. It's a kind of cheating on other stations. Other stations will feel that a big frame is going, but actually small frames are going with embedded bits between the frames. So this is what was the frame bursting methodology.